All right, and we're live, and I'm here with not my frequent sidekick Luke. He's off for the week, but Matt Forty is joining us.
Your less frequent sidekick.
Even yeah, especially now that you've tried to go to bed at a normal time. You're not on the show.
That's been pretty much fucked since I got back from London. So.
All right, so we got a few stories. We'll probably talk about the big purge, the big Vox adpocalypse that was going on. A little storm started with the feuding of two sassy gay men, and just escalating from there. But first, I want to talk about a very special candidate running for Congress, coming straight out of my hometown of Waldorf, Maryland. Now, we're going to go into this candidate, and we're going to discuss her a little bit. Now, first, I just want to say that I hope this candidate wins. This candidate has the official, mark it on your calendars, folks, has the official Bechtloff podcast endorsement. I don't think that's going to mean anything. I don't think that's going to help her. If anything, it would probably hurt her. But nonetheless, I am completely rooting for this candidate. And you're not going to understand when we first get into it. But trust me, I will explain why, if you're lost, that I am all about this fucking candidate. I'm going to throw a link in the chat here so Matt can check out this article as well, if he's so inclined. And this is off of BuzzFeed News, so you know it's good.
Wait. The candidate's name is Michaela Wilkes?
Yes, and we're going to learn about Michaela Wilkes, and you're going to find out
By the way, that is spelled Michaela, as in MC, as in McDonald's. Not Michaela or Michaela, but Michaela.
Maybe she's got a little Irish in her. We don't know. But you're going to find out why I am really, really hoping this woman wins. Even though you might not think this would be up my alley, but you'll find out why here as we go on. Inspired by AOC, a young progressive woman is trying to take down the second most powerful Democrat in the House. And just so we can, I'm not really in the mood to do a whole lot of screen share, but real quick, folks, I'll do a screen share.
What in the fuck is up with her eyes?
So you can get a look at this fine candidate. I want you all to see.
She's one bucket of KFC away from looking like a racist caricature. Oh, right. Master, please don't throw me in the briar patch.
I disavow those comments. I disavow. So here she is. Get a good look at her there. This is going to be the coming straight out of my hometown of Waldorf, and I'm always excited when Waldorf makes the news because it's not a famous town. It's not a famous little town. It's a pretty it's not the middle of nowhere. It's not the bumfuck middle of nowhere like I live now. It's a bedroom community for Andrews Air Force Base. There's actually a lot of money down there, but nobody ever talks about Waldorf. So when it does get mentioned, it makes me smile. But here we have Michaela Wilkes, and she is running. So let's read this article. So Waldorf, Maryland, about 6 months after Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez beat a powerful House Democrat, Michaela Wilkes, a 28-year-old student living in Maryland, Googled, "What do you need to run for Congress? How old do you have to be?" She asked the all-knowing search engine. "What do you have to do?" A call to the State Board of Elections, and $150 later, Wilkes was running for Congress, hoping to replicate Ocasio-Cortez's success and unseat one of the most powerful Democrats in the country. The mother of two is mounting a progressive primary challenge to the House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, arguing the 20-term member of Congress doesn't represent working people in his field. Now, representatives have a 2-year term, so this motherfucker been in Congress for 40 years. 40 fucking years. Longer than I've been alive, and I'm starting to get old.
40 years. Now keep in mind, folks, 40 years is like when you hit middle-aged. Imagine being in one position from the moment you're born to the moment when 40 is when women start to go through menopause. That's a long fucking time. And I'm sure it was helped along by gerrymandering.
Let's see. He quote, he's not for the people that are my family, my friends, my coworkers, Wilkes said in a dinner at Waldorf, Maryland, about 45 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. on Sunday. And I just want to say for the record, 45 minutes from Waldorf, Maryland to D.C. Yeah, maybe if it's after the apocalypse and there's no fucking traffic and you're doing about 70. No, the traffic levels down there, it's closer to an hour and a half. Let's be real.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't relate to anything, but I just asked Brian Proctor if he'd be willing to join. He says yes. So he's doing a show right now, but he can drop in when he's done.
He can hop in if he wants. That's no problem. I don't have a problem with it. I like Brian. In fact, Arjun just asked to join. I'm going to send him a link real quick. I know very
started, folks.
Oh, and by the way, let me read some super chats because we do got a couple. Last night, or the other night, or something like that, somebody sent a super chat right as I was wrapping up, and I didn't catch it. Liam Gray. Hang on a second. Yes, Liam Gray, Anime Hitman, sent me a $2 Australian super chat saying, "Here you go, B, LOL." Tom Bombadil sends $9.99. It says Bechtloff, king of the grass types, and White Wolf sends Canadian $5 and says, Bechtloff, a wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins. He arrives when he is meant to. So did you hear about African caravan caught in Texas? We might talk about that a little later. All right. So
by the way, folks, it's very important to hit that super chat button and send mammons because with certain things going on, you may not be able to do that for much longer.
You see, we'll get into this later, but I'm going to tell you this right now. I do not believe I'm going to get hit by the Vox adpocalypse. I do not believe I'm going to get hit by a similar adpocalypse. I believe when my time comes, and I believe it will come, the digital reaper breathes down my neck every day. I believe it's going to be because I was laughing at some right-wing retard and his fanboys were butthurt.
Yeah, fair, but consider that you should give now rather than later because you may not be able to give later because we may not be online later. So give them money.
Send them shekels. Send them shekels. Shekels are great.
And send me money too. I do good content. Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Argent wants some money too, so send them money immediately after you've sent me money.
Yes.
So I changed my avatar for Pride Month.
For Pride Month
to Rainbow Eevees.
Hey, you know what? Everybody gives Nintendo shit for being the soy boy company. What's the one fucking game company out there that doesn't have a rainbow avatar in the social media this month? I'm just saying, as a Nintendo fanboy, let me throw that out there. So let's continue with this article. Let's see. It shows in the policies he supports and that he endorses, and it shows in the donors he gets contributions from. In a statement shared with BuzzFeed News, Hoyer campaign spokesman Annalisa Davis said, "It is Congressman Hoyer's policy to accept legal contributions and to pursue the policies he believes are in the best interest of our country and his district, irrespective of such contributions." Wilkes, who declared in February and whose campaign will officially kick off this weekend, has a lot in common with Ocasio-Cortez, the woman who inspired her to run. She's also a young woman of color trying to defeat an older white man who has spent more than 3 decades in Congress.
She's a proud woman of color.
She's running on a platform of Medicare for all and the Green New Deal, 2 progressive priorities that Hoyer has declined to support. Wilkes also supports impeaching Donald Trump. Fucking Trump, am I right? While Hoyer and the rest of the White House Democratic leadership has declined to go that far. Quote, "The thing is, I've always wanted to pass legislation." A really weird thing to always want. "I've always wanted to pass legislation, help those like myself who are going through these things. But what really emboldened me was AOC running and seeing if someone like her can get into Congress and someone like me can get into Congress," Wilkes said.
Well, the problem with that is that AOC, no, I'm not calling her AOC. Alexandria Ocasio-Keyboard has Cenk Uyghur's arm up her ass so far. You can see his fingers wiggling in the back of her throat, whereas this chick, I'm guessing not.
Well, maybe not yet. But Wilkes faces some unique challenges. The effort to recreate Ocasio-Cortez's success will likely be more difficult in Maryland's 5th district, in part because the population is still 60% white. New York's 14th, on the other hand, which Ocasio-Cortez now represents, is just 18% white. But Wilkes could get a boost from the fact that it's a presidential election year, which historically turns out younger, more diverse voters. And Hoyer has had primary challengers before, defeating recent candidates by 60 points. Good Lord, he is popular. Mr. Hoyer enjoys wide and deep support in the district, and he continuously meets with constituents across the district to hear directly from them about issues they care about. This includes affordable health care, affordable housing, creating jobs, and combating climate change, his spokesman said. I just want to say this is actually a common thing with incumbents. While across the country, generally people's opinion of Congress as a whole, as an abstract, is very, very low. People tend to have high opinions of their congressmen.
Yeah, they think the problem is with like the other 434 assholes, not their congressman. They're cool.
Yeah, my guy who sat in there for 40 fucking years and did nothing. He's fighting for me.
Well, a lot of like members of parliament in Canada, they will answer calls themselves. I don't know what it's like in the US, but if I wanted to talk to my member of parliament and ask them for help with something, they'd probably get back to me the next day.
Well, the big difference there is that Canada has a much better ratio of legislatures to population. The population of Canada is, I think, 40 million, 38 million, something like that.
30, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. The population of the U.S. is 330 million. However, there are, I think, if I recall correctly, about 338 members of parliament, Canadian parliament, but there are only 435 U.S. representatives. So that means the average U.S. representative is representing a far larger number of people than the average Canadian MP. And as a result, they can't actually do those kinds of things.
What about like state representatives?
It depends on the state. On the extreme end, you have, I think Pennsylvania has the largest, one of the largest state legislatures. There's something like 400. The Pennsylvania House is huge. Bechtloff could probably verify.
I have had very good interactions with my state legislator.
Yeah, I know Pennsylvania's
been on the show.
Pennsylvania is one of the best states in that regard. New Hampshire, I know, has like 400 members of their lower house.
Someone from his staff helped me when I had to apply for unemployment back in 2017, which is the first time I ever did it.
Like I said, New Hampshire, the average New Hampshire House constituency size is like 3,000 people because New Hampshire's not a very big state. On the other hand, you have New York, where New York has 63 senators and 150 assemblymen, which basically means that like the smallest seat is going to be, I think, at least 200,000, 300,000 people. In California, it's so whack that I think the Senate there is they have fewer state senators than they have like representatives in Congress. So if you're a California senator, you're representing like close to 1 million people.
Real quick, Alex McMillan sends Canadian $5 and says, here's some dirty Trudeau bucks. You get my first super chat. God bless. Well, thank you very much, good sir.
I think also part of it is because party discipline is so strict in Canada, they don't have as much to do in the capitals. They spend, I think, more time in their districts. But I've like been to meetings and stuff, just like in and when MPs hold their yearly meetings or whatever, and people will ask questions. They'll be like, oh, just call me tomorrow or just come to my office tomorrow and I'll talk to you. I think to a certain extent, even if they are kind of assholes, they kind of know what side their bread's buttered on and they can't really afford to piss off.
Yeah, another issue is that Canada, to my knowledge, Canada doesn't have gerrymandering because all the districts are drawn by an independent commission. In most states, the constituencies are drawn by the politicians themselves. So you end up with like, I know Maryland is one of the worst gerrymandered states. But you have a situation where it's basically impossible to dislodge a lot of politicians. Even in elections with a lot of turnover, something like 98% of representatives get reelected every year in the U.S.
A lot of the districts in this country, the only way one of these guys is going to get run out of office is through a primary
or dying.
Yeah, or dying.
Actually, what's interesting about Ontario is the federal and provincial electoral districts are the same. So we have the same numbers of members.
Basically, you know, if you represent like a safe blue district or a safe red district, there's really no motivation to give a damn about constituency service because you're not going to lose the seat in a general election. You're very unlikely to lose it in a primary election. Like I said, what happened with Alexandria Ocasio keyboard, that's very rare and it never gets replicated anywhere else. Rarely gets replicated.
Anyway, moving on. I want to continue with this because it gets better. But Wilkes is a different kind of candidate and hopes that her personal experience with the issues from healthcare to criminal justice will appeal to voters. She's a rare candidate who talks openly about both her criminal record and the fact that she's had an abortion.
Cool.
Soon after declaring her candidacy, Wilkes revealed she spent time in jail, an acknowledgement that featured prominently in an ad produced by her upstart campaign. After her aunt was killed in the 9/11 attacks, Wilkes said she began skipping school and running away from home, which landed her in juvenile detention at age 15. I think you got to do a little more than that to end up in juvie, but they never found her body. They just declared her dead, Wilkes said. So if you can just imagine for like years thinking maybe your aunt is still out there somewhere. I started to act out maybe when I was like 13 or 14, which is when I started to realize that she wasn't here anymore because I was starting to hit milestones in my life. You know, your first period, your first boyfriend. In 2014, Wilkes was jailed for driving with a suspended license. She was 7 months pregnant and said she couldn't afford to pay her tickets and she couldn't afford not to drive or she'd risk losing her job. She ended up spending 2 nights in jail. Quote, I just don't want any secrets, unquote, she said, of going public about her record. I want everything to be out there. It's not like I'm the only person who goes through these things. She hopes to use her experience to overhaul the criminal justice system, including ending the war on drugs and reducing exorbitant fees for phone calls made from jail. Unironically, I'm completely for ending the war on drugs, and I don't think I'd oppose the second thing there. Sure, you want to make phone calls, whatever. I major in political science, and my goal, which is still my goal, is to get my bachelor's and go to law school and work for the state's attorney's office to help people that are in my situation, to make sure they're not being exploited and not being criminalized for being impoverished. Wilkes said, people that are just not knowledgeable about the system just don't understand. Wilkes has also been open about her abortion. She was 19 years old and 12 weeks along when she had the procedure done nearly a decade ago. It's not like it's something easy to do, she told BuzzFeed News on Sunday. It's not an easy decision to make, but I feel like women should have the right. My body is not a political playground. There's no room for politicians in the room with me and my doctor. Wilkes knows her background isn't traditional for a congressional candidate, but she argues her personal experience with the issues gives her a needed perspective. Right now, she's working as an administrative assistant at the Pentagon. Holy fucking shit. That surprised me when I read that the other night.
That is the worst part of the story so far.
Don't you have to pass a background check to like just be on the fucking grounds half the time with that? Whatever.
Well, she's also bloated and black, so
if she doesn't have a new job by the end of the month, she'll be without insurance. She has high blood pressure, and she's concerned she won't be able to get her medication. Vote for me. I need a job. It scares the crap out of me. What am I going to do? Is the Affordable Health Care Act going to help me? She mused. No, it's not. No, I'll spoiler alert right there. No, it's not. It's going to penalize you for being too poor to afford insurance, but it's not going to give you insurance. She mused, picking at a garden salad. Well, that might help you a little bit. That's also what sets me apart from Hoyer and the majority of people in Congress, Wilkes said, because I would not have been able to sleep at night knowing I'm denying my sister health care, that I'm denying my friend a place to live, or that I'm denying my classmate a place to live. So for me, it's personal. Wilkes said that if elected, she wouldn't support House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, pointing to the speaker's refusal to impeach Donald Trump and her recent comment that, quote, a glass of water, unquote, could have won Ocasio-Cortez's district in the general election. Make no mistake, folks, there is no love lost between the progressive upstarts and the establishment DNC. It's very much mirrors, you know, what the relationship between the dissident right and the establishment Republicans. It's not quite as openly hostile, but they're not fans of one another.
Okay, if I could just step in, I think, as I've said many times, there's 2 ways of dealing with scandal. There's that, look, I fucked up, I'm sorry point of view, and then there's the Donald Trump, fuck you, they're a liar, they're full of shit point of view. I actually don't think preemptively coming out and saying, look, I fucked up when I'm younger is really that bad a way to deal with it.
I'm going to be honest with you, and we're going to go through the rest of this article, but here's the thing. Number one, I hope cards on the table. I hope this woman wins. She's probably not going to, but I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility. I'd give this woman a good 10 to 20% chance of taking it from Hoyer. Now, that's not high, but that's not nothing. And I'll tell you this too right now. Steny Hoyer is a cocksucking piece of shit, just the embodiment of the swamp. So I would love nothing more for this fat, single mom, black woman with a criminal record and an abortion under her belt to be the reason why he has to pack up his desk. That would be fucking hilarious to me. That would be so fucking funny. Like I'd want to hire the black Israelites to be outside his office as he's leaving. Like, that's right, cry, white boy. Like that would be fucking hilarious to me.
It's following movie Bob around with a tuba funny.
Yes, exactly. It is that kind of funny. I want her to take this from him. Number two, obviously, I'm not on the left, so this woman doesn't directly appeal to me. However, I like the idea of upstarts primarying out incumbents. Let me put it this way. If there's a right-wing equivalent to this woman, let's say in my area, I can't remember my fucking congressman's name off the top of my head. I'm so bad. But let's say my congressman that's been there for a million years is somebody named fucking Kyle, who walks around in a wife beater shirt and a Monster Energy drink hat, is trying to primary him out. I am fucking supporting Kyle, okay? Even if he's driving around his fucking pickup truck that just screams out that he has a 2-inch dick, I am supporting Kyle. That I don't care. Even if I know this motherfucker has put his fist through drywall on multiple occasions, I am supporting Kyle. I am wholeheartedly supporting Kyle. And if he's like, yeah, I got in a bar fight and I punched a cop once when I was younger, but whatever, that's stupid. Like what? Sure, fucking fantastic. You get out there, Kyle. You get out there and fucking be somebody. I want this kind of shit to happen. This is honestly. Her beating Steny Hoyer is basically draining the swamp right there. Okay.
Sorry, is he a Democrat?
Yeah, he's a Democrat. He's the
House Majority Leader.
Oh, okay.
I've heard his name banded around it, and I never put two and two together. I didn't realize, I grew up in Waldorf from age 3 to 15. I didn't realize this was my representative for most of my formative years. I kind of didn't piece that together.
That's because for all the time he's been in the public limelight, he's had Nancy Pelosi carrying his balls around in her purse.
I mean, to be honest, though, like, I think the whole like command saying, "Look, I fucked up. I was stupid when I was younger." I actually kind of sympathize with that because I think we've all done shit when we were younger.
I don't agree with this woman. Most of this woman's policies. Again, there's a few things I could probably have like bipartisan support with her on. But most of these, like the Green New Deal is a load of horse shit. All right. That said, though, this woman's background, the House of Representatives should have more people like that, not less. All right. Especially, the Senate was more designed to be kind of the elite, but the House of Representatives is designed to be connected to the everyman. All right. It should have more fucking Shanays in the blue districts and more Kyle with his Monster Energy drink hat in the red districts. Okay. Somebody in the chat just said, so by Kyle, he means Ethan Ralph. Yes, I would wholeheartedly support Ethan Ralph's amusing ass fucking run for Congress. That would be hilarious. Especially if he won.
Gone to 2020.
Fuck yeah, dude. Him arguing about barbecue sauce in the middle of a fucking debate. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I love the idea of that. Oh. All right, so let's see. The article goes on to talk about a few other people that are running and some people that are complaining she's not qualified. So I'll just leave it here. She says, I just say, I mean, I am qualified. I don't think someone should have to have a degree or certain generic to say background, she says. I feel like we need more people in Congress that are relatable, people that are working class, people that have been through things. I don't have these beliefs because I turn on the news and say, oh, that's bad, or I read a book, or I know statistics, this is my life. And yeah, like I have to unironically agree with that. If down in Waldorf, if the fucking shift manager from the St. Charles Town Center Mall Popeyes wanted to run for Congress, well, good for her. And yeah, this Shanae over here wants to unseat Steny Hoyer. I hope she fucking does. Because she might look like Shrek, but Steny Hoyer is the swamp, okay?
At least she's honest about who she is.
She reminds you of that. She reminds you of that fat black chick who ran for Georgia governor. Like there's a sort of similar deal. This woman down Georgia, she was the House Minority Leader, did nothing. Bragged about how she was like knee deep in credit card and student loan debt. Her job prior to getting into politics was running like romance novels, and she nearly won. Just statistically, Stacey Abrams is her name. She looks physically and mentally retarded, and she lost the race by like less than a point.
I want more people like that running. Like I said, yeah, Kyle 2020 for fucking Congress. I want that kind of shit. All right, that's how you drain the swamp. You want to talk about draining the swamp? That's how the fuck you do it. Stop voting for incumbents. Stop voting for people that have been there 40 fucking years. That's how you do it. All right. And I realize in the safe red and the safe blue districts, the other party isn't going to take it from them. So do it in the primary. All right. All that Ocasio-Cortez shit and the Justice Democrats and all that primaried out a bunch of fucking old swamps. And I know they had Chunk Yu-Gi-Oh behind them all, but that's exactly what the dissident right should have been doing. Instead of holding goon rallies to fucking protect Southern participation trophies and then fucking their mother-in-laws and dumb shit like that. They should have been trying to like some of these guys had some money and they should have been supporting candidates, prop up a fucking photogenic candidate and get them in there. For fuck's sake, the big brown buffalo Chunk Yu-Gi-Oh thought to do it. And yeah, I hope this woman does fucking beat him. I don't think she will, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. BuzzFeed News has caught onto it. What if a bunch of other progressive groups catch on to this and really, really push her? What if Chunk Yu-Gi-Oh throws her a whole bunch of fucking money? What if this just makes some sort of legitimate grassroots thing and every fucking far left person in the country decides, I'm donating money to her campaign. Suddenly she has a fucking $14 million war chest or some shit like that. Some like weird grassroots Ron Paul bullshit. Who knows? It's not outside the realm of possibility. And like I said, watching Steny Hoyer have to fucking pack his desk up after 40 plus years because fucking Shanae took his job makes me laugh so fucking hard. Oh, just the thought of that. Oh man, you old fucking cocksucker, been in Congress 40 years. Like just the thought of him having to do that. Because he'd wake up to that news. He wouldn't be up election night. He just wouldn't believe it would happen. He'd get up the next day like, what? No, you're fucking joking. What?
Well, given how old that motherfucker is, there's a distinct possibility the news might give him a heart attack.
That'd be funny.
People have pointed out before, but Bert's repeating, the Democratic Party is a gerontocracy. Like, all their leadership is in their 70s and 80s. Remember back in we're all quite young here, but back in the 80s, Americans used to ridicule the Soviet Union for being a gerontocracy because all their leadership was in their 60s and 70s. Mikhail Gorbachev was like the youngest one. He was like 58. That's where we're at. We're fucking at. The Republican Party is considerably younger than the Democrats, but not by much. Nancy Pelosi's like 80, 81. Steny Hoyer's in his 70s. Patrick Leahy's in his 70s. Schumer, I think, is in his 70s.
You know who I kind of like running on the Democrat side, and she's got no fucking chance. The Revenge of the Sis guys were talking about her. I binge watched a bunch of their stuff here recently because I just kind of found them through the Teddy Spaghetti stuff. But
Tulsi Gabbard?
Tulsi Gabbard, yeah. Like, they kind of compared her to being like a Democrat Ron Paul in that she's like the one person in the Democrat field, other than, I guess, Bernie, who's saying, like, maybe we don't need to go to a war with Iran. And they're all laughing at her. And Ben Shapiro's like, what does she know about war? Even though, she's an actual fucking veteran. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Ben Shapiro never held a gun in his life.
Honestly, I don't hate me for this. I think she's kind of cute, TBH.
She's not bad.
I'd get on that. I'm not gonna lie.
The big question I have about Tulsi Gabbard is how the hell does she get to go around calling herself a minority when, okay, her father was like half white, and her father was wholly white. Like, she's like at least 70% white. Yeah, she's like, I'm an ethnic minority.
Still though, that's, and again, it's sort of that Ron Paul thing where she's going to get completely ignored. I mean, I didn't even realize she was. I'd heard the name bounced around a few times, but I didn't know she was running for president until I heard the Revenge of the Sis guys talk about it. Because again, she's not in this fucking neoliberal war machine shit. She wants the exact opposite of that, and that's the big thing that'll get you pushed to to the
Well,
wilderness.
the other problem with her is like, you know, she has a history of having the wrong opinions on various woke issues. Like she used to be against gay marriage. She appeared in commercials when she was a kid against gay marriage run by her father's organization. I think she used to be anti-abortion as well. That's going to dog her because like the Democrats are not going to accept a candidate who is less than to the far left on any of those hot button issues. By the way, if you want to get depressed, I just looked up Steny Hoyer. He is 79. No, wait. He's going to be 80 in a few days. His birthday is on the 14th. So, you know, happy birthday 80th to Steny. And beyond being the member of Congress for 40 years, his first major elected office was serving in the Maryland Senate, which he began that term in 1967. This motherfucker has been holding elected office in some form or another for over 50 years.
When did he end up in the House? Was it?
He was elected in 1980.
1980. Okay, so his Congress career is older than the NES. How about that?
Yes,
it's nearly as old as the Atari 2600. There you go for nerd reference right there. But yeah, I hope this woman wins. That'd be fucking fantastic. I would love to see Steny Hoyer right in his twilight years fucking run out of town by the fucking affirmative action hire.
If only that would have happened to John McCain, the Monster Energy drink guy would have beaten him.
Oh man, imagine that. Fucking Kyle, just drywall punching Kyle shows up to just right in his twilight years primary out. That's the thing. Like, look, you can say, oh well, it's so hard to get people primaried out, and yeah, it is. But if you want to reform your party, if we on the dissident right, in the broadest sense of the term, want to get a hold of things, that's the way to do it. Nobody said it would be fucking easy, but it's the only fucking way.
It's easier than winning like elections, like starting your party.
Yeah, you go into the fucking safe red districts, you primary out the old fucking fossil in that seat, and then you'll win. After that, you're fine. All right. So is it easy to do? Or most battles you're going to lose. But, Chunk Yu-Gi-Oh! Threw up like a fucking dozen candidates and like 3 of them won. Okay. Yeah, well, that's not the best fucking track record, but now he's got 3 of them.
I don't know, because like when we had the election for the leadership of the Ontario Conservative Party, I think only like 30,000 people actually voted. And there was like this like super edgy woman running, and she actually did better than people thought because a whole bunch of people came out and voted.
In the primaries, you get a lot of the hardcore people in that party. Just your rank and file Democrat or Republican half the time doesn't know a fucking primary's happening unless it's a presidential election year.
Like in the district level, there might only be like 100 or 200 people, like only a couple hundred party members who vote in Canada, at least, to elect the local candidate. We actually, it's funny. There's this guy in Southern Ontario, Sam Oosterhoff, who's like 18. I think he's the youngest MPP in Canadian history. But so he's like a very devout Calvinist. So he got his whole church to join the local party, and they showed up and they voted like some old fossil out in the primary. And then he won in a landslide, and now he's Deputy Minister of Education. So
yeah, is this woman going to take it from Hoyer? Probably not. Could she? It's not out. We're not talking lottery ticket odds here. Okay. Yeah, I think I'd say I'd give her a good 10. Maybe if she picks up steam, good 20% chance of doing it.
Consider another thing too. Primary elections usually have lower turnout than general elections because, particularly in a district like Steny Hoyer's that's so overwhelmingly Democratic, that's in part why Casio Keyboard won, because a lot of the people who implicitly supported what's his face, Joe Crowley, just didn't show up to vote because they figured he'd win anyway.
Well, this year, I mean, this cycle, you'll get more people showing up because it's a presidential election cycle, and the Democrats are the out of power party, so they're going to have the really contested primary. So obviously, you're going to have more Democrat turnout for the primaries this year. I mean, there's going to be the Bernie guys, and then there's going to be all the dead people that vote for Biden and that kind of stuff. The dead will rise to vote for Biden.
Well, it depends. I know that some states hold the primaries on different days to kind of fuck with turnout. Like I know New York did that in 2018. They had the congressional primary elections in June, and the state legislative primaries in September. Some states do the presidential primary on different days because they deliberately wanted to press turnout to protect people like Steny Hoyer. So maybe I see Maryland as being corrupt enough that they would probably try to do that.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm really not sure. Like I mean I grew up down in Waldorf. I didn't, I moved up to PA when I was 15, so obviously I wasn't voting. I'm not a Democrat. I wasn't voting before I was allowed to. But yeah, I don't know what they do. But like I said, I hope this woman takes it from him. I would love nothing more. I will if it does happen, I will laugh my ass off. It'll be one of those streams where I just show up and there's like 5 minutes of me just laughing, just not able to breathe. Like, fuck you, Hoyer.
Just stream a loop of yourself laughing for 10 hours.
Fucking send it to him. Just there you go, cocksucker. Like splice in the Black Israelite go, cry, white boy.
Who do you guys think the Dems should run?
What, for president?
Yeah.
I would say Tulsi Gabbard would have a good shot of beating Trump.
I mean, who could realistically?
If I'm saying in the general election, Tulsi Gabbard would have a real shot at beating Trump.
I think
Bernie would have a real shot at beating Trump. The rest of them are going to get slaughtered.
Yang might have, but Yang is pretty much blown.
What about Kamala Harris?
She gets slaughtered.
She's fucking.
Really?
They're going to run Biden. Biden is going to get it.
Biden, I think is more black support than Kamala Harris does, which makes sense because Kamala Harris is a part Indian woman from California she's a cop. There's nothing about her that's authentic about the black experience.
Biden will get the nomination, and Biden will lose. Biden will get fucking slaughtered in the general. Not only will Biden lose, but I think there's a chance Biden might get a fucking Reagan Mondale style, ass whooping. But he will get the nomination. The Democrat Party wants to give him the nomination, and they will just simply give it to him. It doesn't matter who the fuck's voting for who. If it's remotely close enough they can steal it for him, they will. The RNC is pretty fucking corrupt, don't get me wrong. But the DNC pretty much has confirmed kills at this point. Okay? So, yeah, Biden's going to get the nomination. He's the guy they're going to give the nomination to.
They're going to beat the shit out of him.
He will fucking lose. I've snuck my way into some left-wing meme groups here in the last few weeks, and just to see how the grass is growing on the other side. And I can confirm that the left indeed still cannot meme, but they share basically the exact same fucking anti-Biden memes you see on the right. Oh, creepy Joe. They fucking hate him.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's why back in March, all those Me Too things about him came out. That was the socialists trying to preemptively disqualify him.
But with the Democrats haven't, even the rank and file socialist Democrats, they haven't quite grasped the fact that, they sort of realize their party leadership is corrupt, but they don't, I'm not joking here when I say they basically have confirmed kills. Okay, people that stand up against the DNC mysteriously die in muggings where nothing was taken.
Also, Joe has said all kinds of I mean, I know this is a cringy way to put it, but he said a lot of racist shit over the years.
You're talking. Not only that, his campaign is so incompetent. Did you see the fucking thing he put up where it's he put up these 3 pictures, and in the one picture it says BI, and in the other picture it says DE, and in the last picture it says N, right? And it's pictures of Joe's career or something. The last picture is him with Barack Obama over the fucking N. Are you kidding me? Fucking red-pilled Uncle Joe here. How about that?
That's the biggest thing he has going for him. He was Obama's vice president, and he's gonna run He's going to focus his campaign on the nostalgia of the Obama years. It's basically going to be like a return to normalcy for woke centrists. Like, do you remember the good old days when we had an intelligent black president, an articulate, clean black man in the office? Don't remember this vulgar Trump. Vote for me, and I'll bring the good days back. Which is not enough because if people really liked Obama, we wouldn't have voted for Trump.
There were some amazing montages. I think my favorite one was when he told the congressman in a wheelchair to stand up and take a bow.
Yeah, he's just not good at it. He's just look, there's plenty of reasons to not be happy with Trump. I'm not necessarily all that thrilled with his performance. But yeah, he will absolutely push Biden's shit in. Can you imagine a debate? Good Lord. It's the Simpsons meme of stop, he's already dead. So yeah, Biden will get the nomination, and he's gonna lose in the general. He's gonna lose badly. Like I said, as far from the candidates I've seen, if they got to the general, I would say fucking blanked on her name, Tabby, whatever.
Tabby Gabbard.
Gabbard. Yeah, Gabbard. She's got Tulsi Gabbard. Thank you. I just had a brain fart and couldn't remember her name. Tulsi Gabbard probably has the best shot of all the ones I see. Bernie could definitely take it from him. Matt's right. Yang could probably take it from him. But
I don't think Yang could. I don't think Yang could do it anymore because Yang has committed the cardinal sin of disavowing the people who actually care about him. Like all the
if he was in a general. If he was in a general election, he could do it. But Yang and Tulsi have absolutely no fucking shot at getting to that point. Bernie has a pretty slim shot. Bernie's got a lot of legitimate support among the Democrats, but again, if it was actual fucking, if it mattered who the fuck was voting for who, that might be one thing. But no, they'll just steal it from him. And Bernie is such a cuck, he's just going to roll over and take it. For as much as Bernie's positions are evil, and as much as I think he's a worthless fucking bum, he is kind of too much of a nice guy for his own fucking good. He's got that same problem Ron Paul had, where his party just rolls him. His party just fucking beats the shit out of him, and he just sort of rolls over and shows his belly.
Well, what do you guys think of Mike Gravel?
That's another little interesting dark horse I've seen there. I've seen a lot of. Mike Gravel is making a lot of rumblings on social media. To
be fair, his social media is run by a couple of Zoomers, so
it feels like one of those kind of Tulsi Gabbard, Yang long shots where it just doesn't feel like he's got the momentum behind him. But he's definitely making some rumblings. And I forgot about him. I could see him giving Trump a lot of shit in a general. But all this is academic because, like I said, the biggest guy who has the chance of taking it for Biden, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't. I don't think they're just going to give it to Biden.
Gravel doesn't have a chance, but I love the guy anyway because he's like pushing naughty and he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like he's the guy who ran back in 2008 and he was like advocating for like openly gay soldiers because he's like he basically said straight up on national television, it's like the Spartans were openly gay and fuck each other in the ass and they were the greatest soldiers ever. Like he's just like our fun like radical leftist uncle who just says crazy off the wall shit. You gotta love Mike Gravel.
Well, there's a historically there's a lot more precedents for gays in the military than there are women in the military.
That is very true.
And also, like the way he just fucking bullies the other candidates on Twitter is hilarious. Like particularly all the mean tweets about Pete Buttigieg. By the way, Buttigieg's a joke.
That's the other one. Like, look, if Biden somehow implodes, that's the other one. Now that one, I don't know, but that's the other one. I think the establishment would try to push him or Warren, and it's like I can't look at that motherfucker's name without reading it as butt plug. Like I don't know if it's like mild dyslexia kicks in every time I see his name, but I'm just butt plug. What's he doing?
One of these days that Trump is just going to slip up intentionally or unintentionally, and he's going to make a tweet referring to Pete Buttigieg as Pete Buttgay.
Pete butt plug.
Hell, like Pastor Stephen Anderson was making the joke on the sermon on Wednesday. He's like, we have an openly gay guy running for president whose name is Booty.
His name is Booty.
Best timeline.
Oh man.
Yeah, that guy's a total media construction because, again, like the only thing he has to offer is the fact that he's gay. His policies, again, are identical to Biden's.
Yeah,
I have some experience with Buttigieg because, like, he's mayor of South Bend, and I don't live there, but I spent a lot of time there over the past couple when I was still in the U.S. Because one of my friends lived there. He's a good mayor. I'll give him that much. Like, South Bend's a pretty nice place to live. But the incredible arrogance of being 37 years old and your biggest accomplishment being mayor of a town that's about 100,000 people and thinking that you can run for the presidency, like, holy shit.
Look, I said this point blank. The way I see the trajectory of politics going right now, and obviously a million things can change, in just a few years. But Trump's going to win 2020, and after that, I'm seeing President AOC on the fucking horizon. And I don't see shit that could stop it except maybe Ted Cruz. He's starting to get his act together in a big way. Maybe. But other than that, even if like the next 5 years go really well for Trump, if he starts really fulfilling campaign promises, the problem is there's just no successor to him, and just the natural ebb and flow of politics is, after one party gets 8 years, the other party usually gets 8 years. So I'm sorry, man. I could see AOC running. I could see AOC winning. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying
especially if all the fucking economic problems that are plaguing the economy don't get fixed, like the student loan crisis.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. When it comes to a lot of these things, I'm sort of, like I said, the anti-usury bill that her and Bernie put out, it's not exactly how I think the issue should be handled. I think a better solution is loosening up bankruptcy laws than capping interest rates. But, I'm not opposed to capping consumer interest rates. Like I said, not exactly how I'd go about it, but okay, fine, that works too. And the student loan debt is something's going to have to be done about that. And you can be like, well, these dumb kids, they shouldn't have got the gender studies degree in the first place. Yeah, fine, whatever. Okay.
Well, they were told they had to get it.
Yeah, we don't live in should land. Okay, at a certain point, this is why most societies realize at a certain point debt needs to be resetted or forgiven or something. You can't just let the shit pile up infinitely. So yeah,
the ancient Israelis forgave debt like every 10 years or something.
Yeah, at a certain point, you got to do shit like that. And I'm not. And look, you could be. Don't give me this bullshit about free market and all this shit. When the Republicans beating that free market shit are the same ones that supported the bank bailouts. Okay, I don't want to fucking hear it. All right, we had a chance.
I'd much rather bail those guys out. Bail the kids out.
Back in 2008, we had a chance to vote on the free market in the Constitution when Ron Paul was running, and y'all fucking GOP, conservative Inc. cocksuckers, didn't want to vote for him because he didn't want to brown people for Israel. So don't bring that shit up anymore, okay? Because you voted no. So yeah, I can support. The only thing that I guess you could call economic that I could just not ever even remotely support from these fucking progressive shitheads is this Green New Deal crap, okay? Because that would be, first of all, cards on the table, global warming is not fucking real, okay? It's not. There are many legitimate environmental concerns out there that need to be addressed. The Pacific Ocean is full of goddamn plastic. The bees, their populations are cratering. Those are major fucking problems, especially the bee thing. But nobody wants to bring that up because, obviously Monsanto is putting a lot of money in a lot of legislators' pockets, and it's probably the Roundup doing the bee thing. But nobody wants to talk about those things. They want to talk about the made-up horse shit of climate change. All right?
Well, here's the thing about
climate change. If it was real, and again, I can't reiterate enough, it's not. If it was real, the only actual workable solution would be some sort of population control, and specifically population control in fucking China, in fucking Africa, and in parts of South America. All right? Especially fucking China. China is the biggest polluter in this world by a wide fucking margin. China pollutes this planet so goddamn much. It borders on an act of war against the whole rest of the
like for
planet.
example, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch that everyone likes to complain about. It's all China. It's not American fucking trash there.
Yeah, there's like less than 1/100% of it is American.
The top 10 most polluting cities in the world are all in the third world. The top 10 most polluted rivers in the world are all in the third world.
So yeah, if climate
Even if-
change was real, you would need some sort of population control in the parts of the world that are actually overpopulated, not pushing it on Europe and America, where we're already below birth replacement.
If you want to see how bad China is, everybody, plug my series China Economy Strong is literally all about this.
You can see China's air pollution from the goddamn moon.
They literally, there's one I did where they literally have like this massive fleet that has just destroyed fishing populations in most of the world. Like they'll just show up on coastlines and just.
Well, they did that. They did that to Somalia. The reason why a lot of Somalis turned to piracy, they used to be fishers. But the problem is the Chinese showed up with their fucking trawler boats and took all the damn fish. So there was nothing for the Somalis left to do but fucking prey on the shipping that has to go for the Gulf of Aden.
Yeah, the way China is very quietly colonizing Africa right now, and the Africans are gonna fucking wish they had the white man back in charge in a hurry. Okay, like the Chinese are like the fucking Borg on how they just strip shit. Like those fucking TNT episodes where they come to the planet and everything's just stripped off of it and fucking gone. Like before they formally showed the Borg, and they're like, "Who did this?"
Yeah, I mean, white people are at least somewhat conscious. White people are the most conscientious when it comes to the environment. We've made some obvious mistakes, but we correct them. A good example would be like, since we're talking about fishing, for example, there used to be like a huge cod fishery in Newfoundland, Canada. Like when the initial explorers came from like, Europe, the old world, were around Newfoundland. They said that there was so much cod there that you could just dip your hand in the water and pull one out by hand. Well, the Newfoundlanders overfished it about 50 years ago and completely depleted it. So the Canadian government did the right thing and shut it down. So to keep the ecosystem from being totally wiped out. Is China doing that? Nope, not ever. They won't do it unless they're forced to at the point of barrel of a gun.
The Green New Deal is a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. Because again, major environmental problems in this world, climate change is not one of them. It's a fucking made up goddamn story. So also, they're against a problem that doesn't exist. It's a solution that wouldn't fix the problem if the problem did exist, and it's a solution whose side effects are going to impoverish us all. So yeah, the Green New Deal. That's a big yikes from me, dog. Okay, and left-wing things I could get behind. Even the criminal justice reform. Like, look, I don't want to sound like one of these, they a good boy didn't do nothing guys. But there's maybe some issues in the criminal justice system that need to be addressed. There's maybe some issues with police brutality that we could have a civilized fucking conversation about. Okay, I'm not opposed to somebody's in jail, and hey, maybe we don't charge them an arm and a leg to use a fucking phone so they can talk to their lawyer or their goddamn family or something. That's fine. All right, I'm not. I'm okay with ending the war on drugs. All right, no, I don't want to see somebody locked up in fucking prison because they were smoking weed in the privacy of their own basement, particularly when there's fucking pedo rings running all over the damn place.
Dr. Pizza.
Yeah. So, and then the economic shit. Again, there's a little bit of this I could get behind. You want to, you want to break up some monopolies? Well, hey, why don't we point at fucking Facebook and Twitter? You want to talk about like student loan debt forgiveness, or at the very least making student loan debt absolvable through bankruptcy. You want to talk about, ending some usury laws, sucking some of the wind out of the sails of the banksters. I'm on board with that. Okay. You want to talk about some campaign finance reform shit. I could get on board with that. Hell, Ted Cruz is jumping, is talking about working with AOC on some campaign finance reform shit. There's a handful of things the non-establishment left and the non-establishment right could work together on. Just as, there's a handful of horrible things that the establishment left and right love to work together on. But I'll tell you what, this Green New Deal shit, that's a big no for me. Okay. Like, can we instead talk about the bee populations? Can we talk about that maybe a little bit, save the bees?
Well, I look at it slightly differently. I think climate change is happening, but it's a natural process that humans have no effect over, because there have been warming and cooling cycles throughout
there's definitely. But I mean, the thing about like man-made climate change is every model they come up with is wrong. They're going to be like, oh, it's going to get hotter, it gets colder, or it's going to get colder, it gets hotter. Well, they were talking about an ice age in the 70s,
That's why they brought the term climate change, to cover up the fact they were wrong about the planet getting warmer.
Yeah, like when my dad was a kid in like the late 50s, early 60s, like it used to snow like mad. It'd be just fucking 10 feet of snow up here in PA. When I was a kid in the late 80s and 90s, now granted I lived in Maryland, but not that far south from PA, and I visited family up in PA. It didn't snow that often. You got like 1 or 2 snowstorms a year. You know, it was never cold enough. Like, you know, the idea of ice skating on a pond as a kid, when I was a kid, that was like a myth. That was something you saw in fucking cartoons. It just didn't happen. It was never below freezing. All right. And certainly not weeks on end of being in the fucking teens. Whereas here in the last, the 2010s, we've entered this cycle where winters have been fucking brutal. And you know what? That's just the natural ebb and flow of shit. There's just ups and downs. There's cold cycles. There's hot cycles. Yeah, I don't think we have anything to do with it. Okay, I don't.
Oh, sorry.
Any effect we have is probably negligible at best. You know.
Oh, Bechtloff. So I just posted a link in the chat. So back in the year 2000, the Independent posted an article saying snowfalls are now just a thing of the past. We will never see snow again. And
I wish.
And they took it.
I'm so sick of the snow.
They took it off of their website, but like someone archived it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Well, you know, the effects are actually of this are somewhat uneven. Like North America is going to get colder, but Europe is relatively unaffected. Well, we had a horrific heat wave last summer, but I think that was a fluke.
I mean, I've seen some snowstorms in the last, I want to say, close to 10 years, around 2009, 2010s when it really kicked into high gear. But I've seen some snowstorms in this better part of a decade here that are just fucking brutal. What was it, 2 years ago, something like that, 3 years ago? I can't remember, but there was this one nasty blizzard where I was snowed in all fuck. I guess it was either like, I think it was like 2015, 2016, something like that. But I was snowed in all fucking weekend. It started snowing Friday night. I didn't manage to dig out till halfway through fucking Monday morning. All right. It snowed all day. It like feet of fucking snow. You know, that was unheard of when I was a kid. It's just natural ups and downs. It's not fucking man-made climate change. Okay. And like I said, even if it was, these quote unquote solutions they have are unworkable.
Well, also they're against things like nuclear power and hydropower and anything that would actually reduce carbon emissions.
They think we're going to power a modern economy on fucking windmills and solar power. Not happening.
It's like we run remarkably clean here in the United States for our standard of living, especially. We run remarkably clean, and the thing is, you know what actually helps the environment? Prosperity. Okay, when the people are actually somewhat prosperous, then things like conservation efforts are things they can actually afford to indulge. Poor nations don't have large swaths of federally protected parklands like what we do.
A lot of African, like I know Kenya destroyed, I think it was like 95% of its forests in the first 20 years of independence. And like most of Africa has become deforested, in part because the countries didn't industrialize, so they used wood instead of electricity to heat their homes. And that turned out to not be a good thing. But yeah, I mean, if they're that concerned about the environment, then fucking invade these countries or force them to stop destroying the world's forests. Like,
yeah,
that's
really,
a much bigger problem.
I mean, honestly, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of, like I said, the most polluted place I've ever been in my life is the Philippines, which is also coincidentally the poorest place I've ever been. Okay, we're talking about a place that is so dirty and filthy that whenever I went outside, like all the dirt, like just clumped up in my eyes to the point where my eyes just start producing extra moisture to deal with it. To the point when I got back to the U.S., like my eyes kept overcompensating, and it looked like I was crying for a week straight.
Like if you've ever seen, I doubt any of you have been to Canada, but it's really, really green in southern Ontario. Like there's parks all over the place. There's trees like everywhere.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Even within the cities we have trees like all over the place. It's very green here, and there's very little like garbage or anything.
Yeah, I mean, even like, you know, the former Soviet Union isn't that bad. Like here in Georgia, like you have, you know, green spaces everywhere because the Soviet urban planners knew that it was a good idea that if you're going to house people in these commie blocks, they need to have somewhere within walking distance to go frolic among nature.
Well, the Soviets also responsible for one of the greatest environment.
Oh well, the Aral Sea, yeah. Give and take. But even they, but the point is, I'm making, even they weren't as bad as like the Chinese and third worlders today.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody has this image of third worlders in their head where it's like this noble savage living off the land. No, a third worlder is usually just some poor motherfucker that shits in a river and then throws his plastic trash in it.
Oh, by the way, with regards to
yeah.
And another thing with conservation too, the same people who talk about the Green New Deal and stuff are also about abolishing the borders and bringing in tons of immigrants. You think the third world immigrants give a shit about when they get here? They're going to want to eat vegan and bug burgers and drive around in electric cars. No, they want the SUV. They want the big fat ass burger. They want the huge 3-room house that they couldn't get back home. Okay. And also, adding population to a country through immigration is going to naturally increase the amount of pollution that comes out of that country. You fucking retards. That's why the original conservationists like Madison Grant were also anti-immigration.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't even like to call myself environmentalist. I very much have strong environmentalist feelings, but I more call myself a conservationist because environmentalist is. I got a bunch of Green New Deal idiots who, want to solve problems that aren't even problems and would cause more harm than good. Again, all these people pushing the Green New Deal, be it fucking Shanae that we were reading about earlier, or fucking AOC or Bernie or any of these idiots. I ain't never heard one of them, not one of them, and maybe I just missed it, but I ain't heard one of them mention the bees. All right? If I don't hear you talk about bee populations, I know you're not fucking serious about environmental shit.
Also, they're against nuclear power for no real reason, despite the fact that it doesn't create carbon emissions.
Yeah, nuclear power is remarkably safe. But there's only been two problems with nuclear power since it was invented. You had Chernobyl, obviously, which was a result of Soviet malfeasance at the end of their collapsing empire. And then you had Fukushima Daiichi in Japan in 2011, and that happened because a fucking tsunami slammed into the country,
and
caused by one of the largest earthquakes in recorded history.
Well, and it didn't explode.
It just melted down.
It didn't explode. It did leak radiation into the water for a little while there, but nothing that wasn't something that could be cleaned up.
No, the Japanese did a pretty good job, but those are really the only two major problems that have occurred with nuclear power in our life.
Coal generates like hundreds of thousands of times more radiation than nuclear does.
Yeah, and coal is also coal is also legit dirty. Like you ever breathe in the fumes from a coal plant? It's disgusting.
Not only that, but the mining is both dangerous and incredibly environmentally destructive.
Yep.
We got a sponsor. He kind of hopped in after we started, but that's fine. So sponsor right now is and it's not linked below, but I'll try and remember to edit it. But it's buttonnaked.etsy.shop or etsy.com/shop/buttonnaked or just buttonnaked.etsy.com. Lots of cool non-PC nerd stuff. A lot of vinyl decals for the back of your car window. A lot of buttons, a lot of stuff like that. So do check it out. A lot of great stuff. Frequent sponsor of the show. I've purchased numerous items off there over the years. Good stuff. All right. So moving on a little bit. Obviously we had the Purge this week, the big Vox adpocalypse. What Carlos something or another is this one gay guy that works for Vox, and he was mad because this other gay guy, Steven Crowder, was making fun of him. So he whined to YouTube, and YouTube initially was like, "Hey, go fuck yourself," and then he published a whole bunch of articles, and then YouTube, released all these new new hate speech things, and shit tons of people got hit with demonetization. The guys over at Revenge of the Sis, they got demonetized, which fucking Vox Day was bragging about. See, this is why you should go to unauthorized TV. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because it would be so much more stable to have a fucking thin-skinned egomaniac like Vox sign in my checks. But anyways, tons of guys got hit. All the far right identitarian motherfuckers, they got nailed. Just lots of. I didn't get hit. Like I
I
said,
didn't get hit either.
you know, knock on wood over here. I don't suspect I will get hit with this sort of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if one day I do get fucking showed, but the only problems I've ever had have been from laughing at fucking right-wing people, and usually their fanboys get all pissy about it.
Maybe they'll cast a curse on you.
Yeah, same here. I mean, the only time my channel was under threat when it was caused by a certain individual whose name rhymes with Gim Load.
So yeah, I don't suspect these.
Maybe that's the reach of the free folk. They have people who work for YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where their reach extends to.
Well, they told me I underestimated their reach, so who knows? Turned out that gay guy working for Vox is a member of the free folk. But no, I don't know what to say about this kind of stuff. I mean, everybody, you know, obviously there's a major problem. We will get into an article here. Keemstar is trying to go on the defensive, gather a bunch of YouTubers and try and knock the fucking funding out from Vox, knock away their advertisers. But I mean, they're already circling the drain financially, anyways.
Well, the problem with that is
all sorts of Soros money, no doubt, shit like that coming into them. So I don't know. I mean, it's like a noble effort there, Keem, but I don't really think you're going to accomplish much.
Well, the problem with that is that
you're wrong, but
the problem is that is like you know the real story behind this, right? Did I send you the tweet thread? I don't think I did. Let me pull that up. But basically,
I heard your video where you said they were planning it. I don't know if YouTube was.
This came out after I did the stream, but basically, this Carl Smaza guy, he works for Vox. Well, he's also a member of the Vox union, and the Vox workers have been trying to unionize because they get paid shit pay and they have no benefits. You know, Maz is complaining about how he only makes $30,000 a year and he lives in D.C. And this week they started a walkout. They're on strike. They're refusing to go to work until Vox recognizes the union in case of their demands. Well, here's the problem. Anyone can do Carlos Maz's job. Like, how hard is it to create a video or write an article called like the 10 types of dildos you need to check out today or tomorrow? Like, these guys are interchangeable. They have no personality. They have no organic following. Okay, nobody from Vox's declining audience base. No one's going there to turn into the comedy stylings of Carlos Maza. They see him as just another replaceable talking head whose job could easily be filled by someone 10 years younger than him and twice as naive.
Honestly, if Carlos talked about dildos more often, he'd probably get more of a following.
Yeah. So here's what's going on. Here's the motivation behind this. Basically, Vox derives the majority of its income from advertisements on its YouTube videos. So what Maza and his allies in the media are trying to do is basically wreck YouTube in the hopes of wrecking Vox to give themselves leverage in the union negotiations. He is literally crashing the plane with no survivors.
So it's 5D chess?
You devious little fruit. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this with Brian. He's going to be coming on. He's just like, I almost respect this now, you know?
I got my opinion of him shot up ever so slightly.
That's like the most big brain, like 5D chess, 20-year-long plan to cure the common cold I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, that's how gays think. They're very psychopathic, and this guy, you know, it's very much a Hail Mary pass from these people.
Of course,
now, keep in mind
that homophobic comment.
Well, whatever. Listen. Now, remember, Carlos Maza and his people, they don't make any of the money. They don't get a share of the revenue that Vox is making off of YouTube. They get paychecks, so they're not affected by this. Vox, on the other hand, you know, having its advertising revenue cut, would theoretically be more willing to negotiate with its workers. But here's the problem with this. As I said already, anyone can do Carlos Maza's job. Okay, labor, like any other commodity, is subject to the laws of supply and demand. There's a reason why, like, welders get paid more than McDonald's employees. These guys, Carlos Maza and all these other journalists in big, massive, finger-breaking air quotes, they are the McDonald's workers of online content creation. They have no organic following. No one loves them. The only reason they have any sort of popularity is because they work for organizations that are bigger than them. And if they lose those jobs, they have nothing. If Carlos Maza got fired from Vox tomorrow and went and started a podcast, he'd have like 5 listeners. No one gives a shit about him. And Brian has talked about this, and so which is good. He'll be coming on shortly. The Trump era has created a bubble for journalists because there's there's a huge demand for all these dudes to like research the evil right wing and misogyny and racism and homophobia in the Trump era. You've seen all these personalities like Luke O'Brien and Michael Edison Hayden and Talia Lavin come out of nowhere, and they're making the big bucks now, because there's a demand for what they're doing. But here's the problem: the second Trump leaves office, that bubble is going to burst because they're not going to be needed anymore. Okay, when Trump, the evil, racist, misogynist, is going to be gone, HuffPo is not going to need any more blog posts from Luke O'Brien about how all the evil Nazis that Twitter allows to use their platform. No one is going to care about what Talia Lavin says or Michael Edison Hayden says or Carlos Maza says. And these people know it. Everyone who works for these little clickbait organizations knows it, which is why they're trying to unionize. They know that between now and 2025, they're very likely to be out of work. There's going to be 2025 rolls around. There are going to be a shit ton of 30, 40-somethings journalists who are out of work. They have no prospects for employment. They have no skills. That's it. And all of these existing media companies are already doing pretty poorly, as pointed out. Vox isn't doing well. BuzzFeed's not doing well. They're cutting people. Vice is cutting people.
New York Times has been bankrupt for over a decade. They just keep getting bailed out. I mean, the problem, Matt, with this whole thing is all these people are backed by people with limitless money who don't care if they make cash or not. And that's kind of the problem. Is so long as they have these parent companies who can just throw money at them. Like here's the thing. Google should theoretically be losing even more money on YouTube by kicking all these people off and like demonetizing all this shit.
Oh yeah.
But Google has so much money, it doesn't matter how much.
YouTube
that goes back to what I was saying about the journalism bubble. Like I said, there's not going to be a need for these people come 2025. That's the problem.
That's the first time YouTube even ran the risk of being profitable, and they shot that in the foot. Like, yeah, a lot of the Bloodsport stuff imploded, but a lot of that was just getting demonetized. A lot of the big profitable super chat streams just got demonetized. Remember, YouTube takes 30% of that.
Well, like remember when Ethan Ralph did the heel stream? That would be like what? 10 grand YouTube made off it. I forget how much, but that was thousands.
I don't know when it goes to
charity. Well, I think it was more than that.
Jim streams would have made they'd make tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars a year off of Jim. They're gonna kick him off.
It's also worth pointing out that the YouTube censorship wave that happened last week, the purge, was very, very scattershot. Like I said, Bechtloff and I weren't affected, but Luke Ford got demonetized. Blaze, who's a follower of mine, yours, Bechtloff, he had less than 500 subscribers to the channel. He got banned altogether. Another friend of mine, Melissa Mazzeros, who retired from YouTube a couple years back, had all of her remaining videos put into limited state. You had leftists being caught up in this. There's a famous lefty journalist named Max Blumenthal. His channel got censored because he had a material on there about David Irving, the Holocaust revisionist. There was a history channel that provides materials for history teachers in the UK that was banned because it had some Nazi archival videos on it. Basically, YouTube was just scrambling to fucking satisfy these people. Which suggests that I think that this current the wheels are falling off the train, off the horizontally oriented monopoly that is mainstream media and big tech. They're still an alliance. They're still working as best they can together, but the wheels are coming off the train.
Well, at a certain point, you'd think big tech would realize we don't need these other guys.
Yeah, and also there's the antitrust. There's some antitrust thing that's being pushed against Google right now. Nick Fuentes was talking about that. There are a million lawsuits against Twitter for wrongful termination, like the one being headed by Jared Taylor.
I think one of those is like a class action lawsuit. I threw my information in on that.
There are enough lawsuits and actions going on right now that it's inevitable that at least one of them will succeed. Okay, you throw enough shit at a wall, eventually some of it will stick. That's in part why these and that's another reason why these big tech companies are scared. They know that the public attitude is moving towards greater regulation of what they do. Antitrust breakups, invoking the Marsh v. Alabama standard. They know that's happening. That's why Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post. So he can influence, Jeff Bezos owns Amazon. He owns the Washington Post. He can use that to push whatever politics he wants, which is in favor of deregulation of big tech companies. That's why these guys are freaking out over, they're doing all the censorship now. They want to ensure that a populist type like Trump can never get reelected again. They want to push Democratic candidates will let them do what they've been doing. But they know, but the problem is the more they push, we've gotten to the point where politicians on the GOP are finally figuring out what's going on. Fucking Kevin McCarthy, the House Minority Leader, that fucking loser, even he is like, what YouTube is doing is wrong, okay? Ted Cruz has been, beating the drum on this, and God bless them. It would have been nice if they had done this when they still had total control over the government. But sooner is better, better now than never.
Friends of the Democrat Party are going out against this too. I mean, yeah, they're not necessarily against censoring them evil Nazis, but you see AOC giving Amazon all kinds of shit. The left wingers aren't going to necessarily,
especially now that leftists are being caught up in the censorship scramble. Like I said, Max Blumenthal.
Censorship. There's economic things. Leftists have hated Amazon for the longest time for running small businesses out, and they don't pay their employees enough, and all this other shit. So yeah, these tech companies might end up in a position where they're getting now slammed by the right and the left, where they've managed to piss off both sides.
And another thing too, you have to consider, big tech censorship has only really been effective in molding the politics in English-speaking countries. It's really not that ineffective, like in continental Europe. They've tried. For example, in the Hungarian election campaign last year, Janos Lazar, was it his name? The minister who was the chief of staff for Viktor Orban. He was banned from Facebook because he posted a video of himself in Vienna talking about how the city had been overrun by migrants. But that didn't affect the election at all. Fidesz, the nationalist party, won with an increased majority. All the fuckery that happened in the month leading up to the European elections, but with in Austria and France and in the UK and whatnot, didn't hurt the nationalists at all. Big tech's ability to affect things is rapidly receding. Journalists' ability to affect things is rapidly receding.
Well, what we need to do to fix this is we need to support Vox Days on authorized.tv. That's the solution.
The thing to keep in mind is there's only so many times. Every time they do this, it's going to get less effective because as they kick more and more people off their platforms, there'll be less and less people to impact. Because you can only wring so much water out of a stone. But no, you guys are right. I think someone's eventually going to successfully sue one of these companies for discrimination or something like that. And as soon as one gets through and you get the case law set up as a precedent, there's just going to be an avalanche.
The case law technically already has been set up, like I said, through Marsh v. Alabama.
Okay, well, eventually you're going to have to start getting away with this stuff.
It's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. So there's a few spin-offs from this story. I want to talk about Keemstar's little probably failed noble effort to fight this. But we're since I mentioned it, let's get into the Teddy Spaghetti stuff a little bit because he commented on this. He had a blog post on January 6th entitled this over at voxday.blogspot.com. Good old Vox Day, better known as Teddy Spaghetti. He had a he had a thing on his blogspot. He's been on blogspot since 2003. I love that bit where there's a bit. Like I said, I binge watched a lot of the Revenge of the Cis guys. They are fantastic. Check out their channel, by the way. And they had a bit where Vox Day was talking about how these trolls aren't going to get to him. But he says, I've been on Blogspot since 2003. And they start laughing like weird flex, but okay. And the one guy goes, this reminds me of that Saturday Night Live skit where Will Ferrell's screaming I drive a Dodge Stratus. I demand respect. But anyways, Vox has this post where he says, my eyes are dry. Oh, the irony. The ankle biters who have been attacking Owen and I for creating unauthorized TV have belatedly discovered why we created it in the first place. And they linked to the video where the Revenge of the Sith guys talk about being demonetized. First of all, they weren't attacking you and Owen for creating unauthorized TV in and of itself. They were attacking you, Vox, for being a thin-skinned faggot, and also for coming off a little bit like a grifter. They were attacking Owen.
I disavow that homophobic comment. I disavow.
They were attacking Owen for being a raving fucking lunatic who sits in his shed and screams about how the moon don't reel, you stupid cum drain Jew. Okay, that's why they were, and they weren't attacking you. They were laughing at you. But I also love that Vox calls them ankle biters when, as they pointed out, that they routinely get several times his live audience.
Well, he uses that term for anyone who criticizes him. But as this, I really cannot stand the way he talks. Like Vox.
Well,
Vox
that just
Day,
makes you a gamma troll.
Well, he's like the fuck. He's got that Ben Shapiro squeaky voice going on where I want to like shove him in a locker unless he gives me his lunch money. He really sounds like a pedophile. Oh, whoops! I shouldn't say that because he'll sue Google to get my docs so he can serve me with a fucking court order here in Georgia.
Oh, okay. Here's the
Which
thing.
is something he tried to do with Gab. Remember, people.
I know.
Remember that if you want to use any of Vox Day's platforms, he tried to sue Gab to get them to dox their own users because they were making fun of him.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like Vox was kind of in his thing, and a lot of like his fans were going on to the Revenge of the Sith video, saying like, maybe you'll be allowed on unauthorized TV, ha ha ha. But here's the thing: like, I'm going to say this point blank, I wouldn't want to be on Vox's fucking platform, and the reason for that is Vox is a thin-skinned fucking egomaniac. And the last thing in the world I would want to do is be beholden to some asshole like that. Okay. Fuck no. I don't care if that motherfucker, and obviously this isn't going to happen because I'm nobody, doesn't know who the fuck I am, whatever. But he could drive a dump truck full of fucking money up to my house and say, come be on authorized TV. And I'd be like, fucking no. Okay. You can't plant me in your penthouse. I'm going back to my plow. Fucking no. All right. You don't have enough money.
By the way, welcome Bryden Proctor.
Like there's no way I'm going on teddyspaghetti.tv. Fuck that. Would I want to have that guy be my fucking boss?
Let me tell you about this. I did not know that he had a thing called unauthorized TV. I just thought that he wrote Mike Cernovich's books. That's all I know about.
I want to check this unauthorized TV too. If you go to it right now, unauthorized.tv, the fucking cringe right here. They got a picture of a gay cowboy. I think that's Owen Benjamin in his fucking cowboy outfit, and it's the intellectual outlaws of the internet.
Cut your house off on that edge, boy. Well, that's the other thing,
fucking
too.
Cold Steel the Hedgehog.tv over here.
Well, that's the central problem of all these alt-tech platforms. The people who run them are fucking unstable and untrustworthy. Like I mentioned Gab there, for example. Gab is the example par excellence. Gab facilitated the doxing of Ricky Vaughn because Torba refused to ban Nalen up until HuffPo decided to start up a campaign to ruin Ricky Vaughn's life, okay? Torba routinely refused to deal with major technical problems on his website, including one example where the site just simply wouldn't function for 6 hours. But when I wrote an article criticizing him over the Ricky Vaughn thing, he was able to find it and whine about it inside of an hour of it being published.
Wait, did you just say the funniest thing ever and you said HuffPo the scientist? Because that's I thought you said HuffPo the Torba the scientist couldn't find
Torba's figuring out how magnets work.
No, that might be the funniest thing I've ever heard. Like,
but no, welcome to the show, by the way, right to Bryden. No, terrible guest. Don't welcome people in when it happened. Our terrible host, I should say.
You're killing it right now. You're just killing it right now. You're like, oh yeah, not gonna introduce him. Also, call him terrible immediately.
Yeah, terrible. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. You're gone. Everybody's gone. Everybody's rejected. You know what? I'm gonna ban everybody because they made fun of me in the chat too, like Teddy Spaghetti. But no, I wouldn't want to fucking work for a guy like that. That's the thing. They learned why they should come to unauthorized.tv. It's like, yeah, I should go from one platform where I could be fucking banned on a whim to a much, much, much infinitesimally smaller platform where I could be banned on a whim. That sounds fucking great. Like
it seems odd that any of these types of things that don't have. I'm very suspicious of anybody that's going to be like, oh, I have this type of funny to be like some type of media aggregate that's not filming all of your shit, giving you all of the equipment and a studio to do it in. Like if Anthony Cumia, who puts all of his stuff behind a paywall, is like, hey, I like your podcast, why don't you come over to the Cumia studios and do it? That's one thing. But I'm pretty sure Owen Benjamin is still just doing all of his stuff on YouTube, right? So if he gets banned from YouTube, does Vox Day actually have some backup thing for him like, InfoWars has, where they have straight up a studio?
I think they do put their streamers videos on unauthorized.tv.
Yeah, but for supposedly unauthorized has been insanely buggy. A lot of the quote unquote exclusive content just ends up on YouTube anyways. And again, this is a guy who goes on a fucking warpath because he got called Teddy Spaghetti. It's like whoopee jack shit. Oh, you poor thing. Yeah,
I mean, again, remember the guy was trying to sue, legally compel Andrew Torba to turn over information of his users because they were calling him like a pedophile or something.
That was with the debate. I was in Florida at the time, chasing a hurricane. That was after the debate with Andrew Anglin, where Andrew Anglin kept just he actually goes, well, if somebody calls you a pedophile, what are you going to do? And he said, I'll burn down the world. Vox
exactly. That's precisely what he did with Gab too. He wasn't just trying to sue Torba. He also urged people to withdraw their investments in Gab's ICO. Like he literally tried to destroy the site over his hurt feelings. And I think that was spelled the beginning of the end for alt tech. Because you realize at that point that you can't invest in any of these sites because someone like Vox Day can come along and just wreck it over hurt feelings.
Well, you say that, but the thing is, like, when was the last time you heard in this new iteration of Dissonant Right the name Vox Day? Like, nobody mentions the guy anymore. I mean,
except when he's doing something stupid.
Well, isn't that anybody though?
The thing about Vox Day, I like Vox Day in a lot of ways. Like, I've read the guy since 2003, back when he was on WorldNet Daily. I like his writings a lot. I think SJW is Always Lies, a solid book. I think Summa Helvetica is a really fantastic fantasy book. I like his Comics Gate shit that he put out, the alt hero stuff, although I think the alt hero name was stupid and he shot himself in the foot with that. Like, the guy can do a lot of good work. The problem is he generally is an egotistical, thin-skinned idiot who lives 3 feet up his own ass. And there's no denying that. I mean, even the whole like gamma male thing that he throws around, like no one outside of his readers knows what the fuck that is. Okay. People hear gamma and they think fucking Bruce Banner and the Hulk. They don't know what he's talking about. Okay. Like, and a lot of people, like, I know Matt shits on that chart that he came up with. I think it's a really useful metric. I think it, but it says a lot about archetypes and patterns of behavior when you use it to try and be like, everyone who criticizes me is a gamma, but I'm a level 9 sigma, then you're being a faggot and you need to cut it out. Okay. Like, and that's what he does. Like, everybody's a gamma male if they're against me. They're just a bunch of gamma trolls, and by the way, real quick, 199 super chat from Dashing Rogue says Vox was hacked, says he is astroturfed against. He wasn't hacked. Okay. He is a fucking hack, but he wasn't fucking hacked. Okay. He was laughed at by the guy, Revenge of the Cis guys. They called him Teddy Spaghetti, and he fucking let that get to him. And then everyone started calling him Teddy Spaghetti because it was funny to watch him spurg out. He reacted so poorly to Teddy Spaghetti, people lost interest in making fun of Owen Benjamin for a little while, okay? And that guy screams about how the moon isn't real in his fucking shed.
In a very mild defense of Owen Benjamin, there is a way you can discuss these ideas without coming off as a complete unhinged lunatic. Whereas Owen Benjamin just jumps from idea to idea because he's mentally unglued, and he's like he follows shit around like a puppy dog.
Look at Jay Dyer.
He hopped on that Jew thing like Paul Nealon did.
Look at Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer believes a lot of wild, wacky shit. Okay, Jay Dyer believes a lot of out there stuff, but Jay Dyer doesn't immediately come off as insane. Okay, he's a very, he's a well-spoken guy. He's a learned guy. He knows what he's talking about. He doesn't. He's not sitting in his shed banning people because they made fun of him in the super chats. Okay, looking like he's just
Owen Benjamin is.
He fucked
Is that
Owen
really his
Benjamin.
shed?
Owen Benjamin, yes, broadcasts from his shed, and then this is the other funny thing. He broadcasts using his cell phone as the fucking Wi-Fi hotspot, trying to run OBS off of the Wi-Fi hotspot on his cell phone, and then when it runs poorly, he blames the Jews at YouTube for throttling him.
Well, the thing with Owen Benjamin is like I've not watched many of his videos, but it looks like he's like it always looked to me like he was just sitting on his fucking lawn with like a keyboard and stuff just set out on the lawn, and I'm like,
well, some of them
that's
are probably
weird.
I'm gonna start doing like a lot of fucking Owen Benjamin shit on here because it's just I want to just sit down one night and go through some of his streams because it's basically like. You know, like this guy does his show prep by going outside to the naked crackhead that's screaming at his trash can at 3 a.m. and just writes down what he's saying. Like this guy is batshit. Oh. Yeah, he's spectacular in his fucking insanity. And like you said, he just hops on shit constantly. He's just like, I heard somebody mention the moon landing was fake, so I'm just gonna go on about that for forever. You know,
I think it should be illegal. I think it should be illegal for Gen Xers to discuss the JQ because
Oh,
everyone who does it just becomes insanely unglued.
Dude, somebody was trying to, like, he didn't understand how orbit works, and he was trying to use that as like proof of the flat Earth. He's like, how come stuff just floats up there? Like, and people are trying in the chats to explain how orbiting works. You know, it's falling at the same rate, it's moving to the side, and he's just banning people like fuck you, and they'd be like, gravity doesn't mean nothing. Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
It's fucking magnets. It's fucking magnets. How do they work here? except ICP was funny and are good musicians. Yeah,
Owen Benjamin's accidentally funny. I'll give him that. Oh man. But yeah, he's spectacular, man. Oh geez.
Is there that he was once banging Christina Ricci, if I recall correctly?
Yeah, but not back when that meant something.
Yeah, you went from Christina Ricci to screaming about the moon in your shed.
And like I get people who want to be like, oh, Bechtloff, you're black pilled. You're black pilled because you're not hopping on board unauthorized TV or something. It's like, look, I'm not black pilled because I don't believe in your favorite East-Lab, okay? You know, yeah, I'd love for Vox to prove me wrong, okay, but he's not going to. This thing's going to crash and burn, either because he's not going to have the funding, or maybe the banks are just going to yank the fucking funding from him, or him and Owen are going to come to blows. I guarantee you that. Owen Benjamin has this long line of fucking people he's alienated because he's fucking insane. And then you combine that with the fact that Vox is arrogant and thin-skinned, they are inevitably going to come to blows.
Well, there's the thing. Fucking, Vox Day was feuding with Andrew Anglin because he thought Andrew Anglin was a Nazi for talking about the Jews. Well, Owen Benjamin just nothing but scream about the Jews, and Vox Day puts up with that. There was also what was it? Christ. Actually, that Fox Day in general just weirds me out in general, how he's able to get away with so much shit. Like, again, the guy himself has talked about the JQ, but again, he's still good with like Mike Cernovich and that crew, even though they threw anyone who discussed Judaism under the bus back in 2016, 2017. Then you look into his connections to like, evangelical Zionists and such. His father was an evangelical Zionist. They've got connections to like Liberty University and all the evangelical circles. And you start to wonder if this guy is basically just, like another controlled op.
Well, I mean, I will say the first time I ever even heard of him was when he was writing for WorldNet Daily back in like 03, 02, something like that. And I mean, WorldNet Daily was as neocon, Zionist as they come. I don't know if that site even fucking still exists. Maybe it does, but I remember the late 90s, early 2000s. It was one of the major right-wing sites on the internet.
Well, at least the idea lives on because, you got to stand with Israel and we got to have a hawkish foreign policy. And if you don't believe that, you're probably a virgin.
Yep.
Bolton Squad, boys. Bolton Squad, check in the chat. Press 1 if you're all about going to war with Iran. All right, Bolton Squad.
I loved when I saw that tweet of fucking Ben Shapiro. What was it? Saying that Tabby chick, like, what? Oh, what do you know about war? When she's a fucking veteran, and it's like, oh, Ben Shapiro's probably never held so much as a squirt gun in his fucking life.
Well, he's got those Jewish wrists, those manlet wrists. He'd probably break them if he tried to fire a firearm.
Listen, I'll just tell you right now that Ben Shapiro didn't have to go to war, all right? Because these people have been through enough.
You know what? One of my earliest exposures to Vox, I should say, back when Ben Shapiro was getting pushed on WorldNet Daily when he was like 19, and Ben Shapiro's writing all these pro-Iraq war articles. Vox, you created the first fucking nickname that really stuck on Ben Shapiro, and that was the littlest chicken hawk. Because Vox used to be like, well, Ben, you're 19. Why don't you enlist if you're so fucking pro-war? And he used to like make jokes on it in his article. He's like, I don't know, maybe Ben has a legitimate reason for not listing. Maybe he has a club foot, or maybe he just has a penchant for bathhouse sex.
Chicken hawk's good because you think of the hawk policy, and then he's a chicken. That's great.
Yeah, the littlest chicken hawk. Well, that's the term. A lot of military guys use that term. It means that you're hugely pro-war, but you have no service. You're not going to fucking enlist. Like, I want other guys to fight this war for me.
When I think of chicken hawk, I think of like the Looney Tunes cartoon, Foghorn and Lego, and a little chicken hawk there.
Well, I say, Matt Forney, what do you mean? Well, let me tell you a little bit about going to war with Iran there, son. It'd be fantastic for Israel. It'd be fantastic for our economy. And I do say now, just lean in real close to me, son. I say it'd be good for you, too. Now go ahead and enlist.
I'm a bit past draft age. And also, if the war happens between China and the U.S., I'm probably fighting for China. Oops.
Well, no.
I disavow.
Yeah. I'm kidding.
Don't come for me.
Don't
come for me. Fucking what was the gay guy? Carlos something. Don't fucking kick me off YouTube, Carlos.
Let me hit you with this though, Matt and Bechtloff, because I'm sure you're an older guy in itself. Wouldn't war with Iran be just freaking hilarious? I'm 31, dude. I'm like 32 in a few months. Oh man, it'd be great because then, like, I wouldn't when I go to Taco Bell. It would just be all old ladies.
I wouldn't have to see any of those fucking Fortnite dances anymore. So that'd be
yeah. Like, let's send our youth to die for my convenience. This is the new boomerism.
Yeah, well, fuck it. The boomers did it to us.
Yeah, we'll just get rid of the fucking Gen Z.
Yeah,
that way, fuck your stupid. What the hell is
Trump has committed the U.S. to decriminalizing homosexuality worldwide. So I guess all the gays can enlist. They could be sent on the first wave.
What, dude? The gayest military in the world, America, would be like, that'd be the best. They're just like, so we're fighting World War II again, right? But it's just we've got gays and trans people on the front lines. Tell me that wouldn't be. Just...
We need a whole battalion of transsexuals, because it would be the first time in history a battalion has taken 41% casualties before engaging the enemy.
Got him. It would be so funny though if we just got like a whole like openly gay military versus our like completely gay military that we have now.
Instead of bayonets, we could put dildos and butt plugs on the end of rifles.
That'd scare the shit out of the Middle East.
Just heading towards chasing after fucking ISIS with dildos. There you go.
We can develop some airborne aids and just fucking, gas them with it, like the mustard gas of World War I.
Yeah, dude, they just come down. They're like, here's the Army Rangers, and they come down butthole first. Like, that'd be amazing, dude. The parachutes are just working. Like, this would be incredible. It's
that may be the first time I've ever heard that expression, butthole first. Well, I'm going to find a way to use it in a sentence sometime in the next
my belief is to make up for the millennia of oppression, the army should be entirely female, and we should only draft women, because we have to make up for not letting them serve in the army for so long.
You know what? I think that sounds very enlightened. I'm all for that.
I just love the idea of like it's a tactical choice to just let everybody get into the military, and they're like, yeah, uniforms, and it's like, now go fight a war. And they're like, oh no.
You know something I remember hearing, and it just sort of like nobody talked about it, but I heard this fucking one general, and it was when they were talking about decriminalizing homosexuality in the military, and he had reversed his position. He was like, I'm all for openly gay people serving. And they were asking him, it was some sort of committee or something, was saying, well, why did you reverse your position? And he basically said, and this was like, I think late in the Bush years, he was like, well, we're not in a position to turn people down who want to enlist.
Oof.
And I remember hearing that, and I'm like, okay, and nobody like that just went on, like nobody fucking addressed that. I'm like, wait a second. I think we got another problem here we need to be talking about.
Got a real meat grinder problem going on of young men into the Middle East. Yeah.
Look, I'm not in a position to turn people down. If they can fucking hold a goddamn rifle and stand up straight, I'm gonna send them.
Wait, oh, dude, and the military comes out with a whole new line of limp-wristed rifles, right?
Well, it reminds me of an old Family Guy bit where they're like, you know, we take what we could get. We got 2 dead guys guarding the armory. It's just 2 bodies stacked in front of the door.
I just like the idea of like a rifle for limp-wristed people. When we're like, this is the new army, and it still shoots the same. It's just made for people with limp wrists.
It's fucking pink.
Yeah, it's just pink. You know, they color coordinate everything, and then we head over to the Middle East, and they're like, listen, I do not know what to do with this. I don't want to surrender, but let's just be completely honest. I am terrified of them. They come out, penises everywhere. This is completely against the law.
Well, there's something Jordan used to do against ISIS where they sent some female snipers to kill them because they believed if they died at the hands of a woman, they'd go instantly to hell.
Oh,
so Jordan just sent a bunch of fucking female snipers to pick them off. And like a whole section, like this whole ISIS camp just surrendered after like they got 3 guys.
I'm gonna admit, every time I see one of those MMA like female fighters who basically gets killed by the tranny, I burst into laughter.
Well, that's just because, you know, this being Pride Month, you're very supportive of the trans community, right?
Yeah, no, but I think it's great. I think it's the greatest thing to happen to. I think transsexualism is the greatest thing to happen to female sports ever.
I remember being at this one bar that's had really great wings in my area, and they since closed down. But I went there kind of, you know, early afternoon, and I wanted to get some lunch, and they had fucking girls soccer on. And I'm there with my buddy, and I said to the waitress, I'm like, can we put the news on or something? I mean, this is just soccer. It's not even real soccer. It's girls soccer. And little did I know in that moment, there was fucking girls soccer players. Oh, no. Like 2 tables down that got like instantly like turned around, got all fucking mad at me. And this was a few years ago. And and I'm like, look, I don't want any trouble. I just want to eat. And they're just bitching me out. And I finally was, and one of them was like, I bet we could beat you in the soccer field. And I just looked at her and said, sweetheart, I haven't so much as kicked a soccer ball since I was 9. I'm out of shape and I'm 30. If I can so much as put up a fight against you, it proves my point.
Well, I'm just picturing you like saying that, and then it just cuts to you getting like on the ground, just kicked, like soccer kicked, repeated by a bunch of girls.
Little did they know that's my fetish.
That's the problem. Like, if you're ever trying to defend yourself at all as a woman, it's like, be careful who you try to beat up or whatever, because like,
just harder, mommy.
Yeah. I mean, I once saw a video of a guy, and this is always stuck in my mind. He's getting sucked off, right? And then right before he's about to, you know, bust, she just starts punching his balls, and. Well, no, I mean, here's the worst part. And like, I've said this on stage 1,000 times, so it's not breaking news here, but I saw that and I was like, yeah, I want to try that. Because he looked like he was enjoying it, you know? And then like I was dating this chick at the time, and then I did not. It was not at all. I gave it a try. I was like 20 probably. But like one solid punch to that nutsack, I was like, nope, not into it.
This is not mine. This is not for me.
It was horrible, but I'll never forget it because that's the time media really got to me.
Well, and I'm pretty sure that guy's worked up to it. You know, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he started with the full-on punch to the balls.
He was loving it, and I was like, I was 20, so I'm like, I've never seen anything like that before. He seems to like it. Maybe he punches more, guys out at the top, right? But no, it was horrible. It was a horrible experience, and it was funny now, but it was rough.
The only time I had a chick hit me in the balls, I was over at I was young, like 19, 20. I was over at my girlfriend's place, and we were kind of like fighting over the remote, and it's sort of like playfully wrestling kind of thing, right? And I just sort of like accidentally like hit her in the tit, right? Like I wasn't even trying to, but I kind of like nailed her like square in the tit, and that's sort of the female equivalent. And she's just like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" And she's like, it looked like she was gonna cry or something, right? And I was like, I felt bad. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, honey. I'm so sorry." And then she just immediately like hits me right in the fucking pills.
Oh,
and so we're both kind of just on the ground, just like, "Oh god, oh god, oh god." And then afterwards, just sort of like, "Well, I guess we're even. You want to go to Wendy's?"
No. It's not the equivalent. It's not the equivalent at all. They want to act like it's the equivalent. But they also think childbirth is a big deal. And I'm sorry, I eat Taco Bell a lot, so I'm pretty sure I know what childbirth is like.
Well, you know what? I don't think childbirth is as bad as getting hit in the balls, because women, they complain about how painful it is, but then they want to have another kid.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I've never had the urge to get hit in the balls again after that.
Well, because you weren't in that porno with that guy. That you weren't that dude. It was just, he loved it, dude. Because like she was pretty good looking and stuff.
Yeah.
But he loved it. He was all about it. He made it look like, okay, this is what you need. Because my buddy showed it to me and was like, "Isn't this fucked up?" And like, I just thought, like, I've never seen anybody that happy before. Like there's.
I don't know. I like things a little rough, but yeah, take it easy on the boys there.
Yeah. He fucking loved it. He was all about it. He was like, oh, and I'm like, I've never made those sounds. It's not. I mean, I assume that guy's dead from just like drug overdose at some point. But it's not women who say that being a woman is hard. They need to be slapped in the balls, I think.
Arjun had to duck out for the night, so thank you for being on the show, Arjun. Let's see. Anything else I got? I don't know.
I'm sorry I came so damn late, and I just.
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it. It's just, yeah.
I don't get to come over. You don't even follow me on the Twitter, and I feel bad about it.
I don't.
He's
I don't
not
really
on Twitter.
Yeah, there's a Twitter for the show, but Luke actually, my sidekick actually runs that, because I've been pretty hardcore IP banned from Twitter. Like I've tried to get around it, so
I'll get you around that. Don't worry about it. I can get you.
There's a Twitter for the show. But yeah, every time I've tried to get around the IP ban, they fucking nail my ass.
I can get you around that. Don't worry. But I felt bad. I was like, okay, I thought Bechtloff and I were associates out here in like the professional realm of podcasting.
Yes, the very professional. Where I will be very upset if someone calls me Bechtloff Spaghetti.
Where we also use the phrase "butthole first."
Butthole first. Like I wish I could change the name of the fucking Tonight Show to Butthole First. That might be tomorrow night's show.
Hey everybody, listen to Butthole First with Nicholas J. Fuentes. Nicholas H. Fuentes.
Oh, dude, if I could do voices, I'd just LARP as like a gay guy and have a right-wing show called Butthole First, and wonder how many people would be like, he's fucking based.
Butthole First, the X-rated counterpart to America First.
Yeah.
Israel first, America first. No, I'm super woke. It's Butthole First.
Somebody
in the chat says Niggle First.
My impression of Nicholas J. Fuentes, he's a buddy, so it's not hurtful, is I just do Gilbert Gottfried. So every time he's like,
hello everyone and welcome to America First. It's great to be here. I've been eating Taco Bell.
You could say, you literally take anything he's ever said, like,
okay, big guy.
It's a fantastic thing to do. Somebody please do it for me, because I'm not going to do it. Just do that over videos of Nick Fuentes. He's going to fucking hate it.
My favorite thing I saw was somebody somebody muffled some Ben Shapiro audio and they put it over a video of just like a camera focused on the locker. So it's like Ben Shapiro got shoved into a locker. I just love that.
Well, I watched that. I watched this fucking idiot go on about the finale of Game of Thrones forever, and the only thing I could think is like, if your parents weren't rich, if you were not set up for this position, you would just be some nerd on YouTube right now who is like a paralegal and just be going on and on about Game of Thrones, and you would have wished Jack Posobiec would have fucking talked to you. The guy's a dweeb.
I'm sorry, you don't at least back then when it meant something, you don't end up a 19-year-old on fucking with your own weekly column on WorldNet Daily back in 2003 when that meant something without your parents having connections. Yeah. Like, I know the right wing loves its tokenism, and I know they love, like, look, this young kid is right wing, fucking based, am I right? Or this gay guy or this black guy is right wing, fucking based. But still, like, there was millions of other fucking 19-year-old kids with right wing blogs. You didn't just get that fucking gig randomly, all right? Like, yeah, supposedly Ben Shapiro was on Star Search when he was 12. I mean, he's been looking for his in forever.
Well, Star Search?
I heard somebody say that. I haven't seen the video.
Was he a child actor? Did he get fucked in the ass?
Yeah, he was playing violin because he's actually a fantastic violinist.
Okay.
But that's where all that comes from.
So he wasn't like Ashton Woody then.
No, I mean he's a rich kid, so he was always set up for fame. And like, have you noticed how that he's now extremely famous? That they're trying to set up Abigail for something. You know, she's going to be in the next 5.
She's going to be the next star of Blacked.
How the hell did you get?
No.
How the hell did you get in here?
A finger on that beautiful woman.
How did a bunch of people just come in here? What the hell happened to my stream?
You fucked up and posted the link to the stream in the general fuckery channel.
Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid.
Good job, bud.
There you go. Good game, Bechtloff.
and you know what's the funny part is, like, you posted that like 2 hours ago, and people didn't start joining.
Nobody fucking cares. Oh man, I'm hurt. Y'all didn't fucking crash this stream sooner. Oh, there you go. But yeah, I will say, at least with Abigail, there's something nice to look at there. You know,
hell yeah.
I mean, Abigail looks like she got the fucking crown from Mario that turns you into Princess Peach. It looks like you put that on Ben Shapiro.
No, it's annoying to me when people were like, "Oh, Jews are ugly." I'm like, yeah, but they're women though. That's I think a biological trait that they've developed is like, well, let's just send one of our women over there, and well, there you go.
Well, that way, in the various times when they get conquered, their bloodline doesn't totally go away. If you know what I'm saying.
It's fucking beautiful, dude.
Yeah. The way Jewish ancestry is determined is through the mother.
Yep.
And you know what? I think we're gonna launch a website, and it's gonna be starring me and Ben Shapiro and his sister. It's gonna be called "Watching My Sister Go Goy."
Also, that just means her nose a little small. I mean, I'm thinking on that line, you know, from Spaceballs, where it's like, you know, oh great, a Jewish princess, and then John Kane looks at the camera and it's like, funny, she doesn't look Jewish.
I'm just saying though, them titties ain't small. We got Fake Davis in here. That's fucking fantastic.
You know, guys, it's so nice of you to invite me onto the show. You know, I'm willing to sit here with you and mend bridges.
Oh, jeez.
I would have much preferred to have fake Chris Cantwell, because I have some questions about his new association with the right stuff. Oh, excuse me, the fedstuff.biz.
I thought it was the butt stuff.jizz.
You know, it's funny, Matt. I was talking to Erica, like she was just in the other room or whatever. I saw the thing on YouTube and I saw the title of your next stream and was like, I thought it was today and wanted to watch it, and then was so disappointed to find out that it's tomorrow.
I saw it yesterday and I was like, oh, is Matt going to be streaming while I'm wage cucking? I can listen to that when I get home. Oh no, it's Sunday. Damn it.
Yeah, I thought about doing a stream today on the whole 21 convention bullshit, but it's gonna be a 3-for-1 scammer special on Math 20 Live tomorrow.
You know why I put that in the general? I see why I put that. Argent asked if he could come on, and I thought he sent that to me on a DM. So I just throw a link to the fucking thing right under it. That's why.
Vey.
Oh, I see what I did wrong.
I love how you just showing those IQ points over there. That's
just
great.
I'm a 140 IQ guy like Benjamin Owen. Just, oh yeah. The moon's not real, you stupid cum drain Jew.
We have a real brain trust here.
You know, I'm sort of like the brain behind the brain trust. And you trust in my brain. Now, you see how that works? That's wordplay.
That's a
It's
pretty
something
good
you don't
argument.
understand.
I was just thinking the other day, I miss the free folk. I really do. They were so much fucking fun. I really like Davis came back after he tapped out, but the free folk, they just beat feet at it. They're gone. I miss it, man. I miss watching the live streams and them ramble on about how their white blood commands them to worship Odin. It was so fucking funny. And they were so uptight about it that like they couldn't take the least bit of fucking trolling, man.
And there was the one where the woman admitted basically that she's a schizophrenic because she's talking about voices of command.
Oh yeah, she heard Odin's voice. She's like, no, I heard a masculine voice that I presume was Odin, and telling me, I'm like,
incubus.
Yeah, I'm like, sweetie, I that was either in your head or it was something that wasn't Odin.
If it was the voice of anything, it was the voice of her dying ovaries.
Oh, that's harsh.
You know, Hadrian's problem is no man was good enough for her.
Nobody was good enough for her.
Like, that's the real problem in modern age.
It was the voice of her malnourished son in the next room.
Oh man. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because we've gone on for about 2 hours, and that's a good show length. And we got more people in here.
You're so good at this.
I know. I'm awesome.
We haven't even gotten to the meat of any of the issues, and you're running away. What are you so scared of? Is it your lack of logos?
If you want to support this highly professional stream, you can check out the PayPal, Patreon, and Amazon wish list down below, and also the sponsor Butt Naked. I'll put a link down below when I get a chance to edit the thing. There we go, the highly professional stream. So that's about all we got for this week. I want to thank y'all for listening. Thanks everybody who hopped in, whether or not you were invited. And that's it for tonight. Bechtloff out.